Ladies and gentlemen, I am addressing you with an important message. Soon, the European Parliament will be called to vote on the request to waive my parliamentary immunity submitted by Viktor Orbán's regime. It will be a crucial vote. Of course, it's important to me because my personal freedom depends on it. The legal institution of parliamentary immunity is currently my only protection against an unjust and ruthless political will to persecute me. But this vote is not only about me. It's a vote about Europe and democracy. Granting the Hungarian request would mean, in effect, collaboration with an authoritarian regime. Collaboration in matters of justice, not merely international relations. How can there be cooperation on judicial matters if there is not anymore even a minimal shared democracy foundation? Hungary, as we all know, is less and less a democracy, less and less a country founded on the rule of law. The transformation imposed by Orbán after 15 uninterrupted years in power has turned the country into a hybrid regime that, yes, retains the formal elements of democracy, but with an authoritarian or autocratic substance. It's not up to me to convince you of this. It has been denounced for years by scholars, independent international institutions, even this very parliament, and above all, by the Hungarian citizens themselves, who are the ones suffering most from this democratic backsliding. Orbán, after all, has never hidden his intentions. He himself coined the oxymoron, illiberal democracy. And the model he looks is to Vladimir Putin's Russia. In this context, I believe it is necessary to draw a clear and firm line. It's not about right or left. It's about democracy versus authoritarianism. On one side, there are those who consider it acceptable to crush the separation of powers, bend justice to the will of the government, repress dissident, and restrict freedom of expression and freedom of speech, those who are willing to sacrifice democratic principles. And on the other side, there are all those who, despite having different and even antagonistic political views, share a commitment to fundamental democratic values: the rule of law, individual rights, freedom of expression and of the press, and judicial independence. It is to all of you that I speak, and in particular to those of you who were elected by the people and who now have the responsibility of deciding on my immunity. Defending my immunity does not only mean defending me, it means defending the democratic principle in Europe. Granting the request from Hungarian regime would instead legitimize those who want to dismantle that very principle. It would mean giving into the increasingly dangerous forces to authoritarianism. It was also worth recalling that behind my parliamentary immunity lies a clear political mandate: the will of 178,000 Italian citizens who elected me while I was in prison, precisely to free me from the oppression of an authoritarian state and a regime that uses justice as a tool of political revenge. This is not and has never been about evading justice. In Hungary, for those who dare oppose the regime, there is no justice but revenge. The legal proceedings brought against me, and which may soon or soon, are a judicial sham with a conviction determined even before the trial begins. The verdict would not come from an impartial judge, but from a political power demanding exemplary punishment. I have already endured an extremely long period in pretrial detention, 15 terrible months, as innocent, in Hungarian prisons, in conditions that international bodies themselves have described as degrading and unhuman. They tried everything to break me, to force a confession, using methods of white torture. I know that there are many sincere democratic people out there who think, but justice must not be evaded. And they are right. But to them, I ask, do you truly believe there is justice under regime? Do you truly believe that I could, in such a context, have any real chance to prove my innocence? Ask yourselves, honestly, put yourself in my place, even just for a moment. And above all, let's ask ourselves together, is this the kind of justice we want in Europe? The justice of a tyrant? Or do we want a justice that is free, independent, and not subjugated to the will of political power? Because if we allow a regime to decide who may speak in this chamber, that means that independence of the European Parliament itself, the democratic heart of the Union, is under threat. This is not just a personal attack. It is an attack against Europe, and everyone can see it now. Defending my immunity means defending the freedom of speech and expression, the right to opposition, and the independence of legislative power and the rule of law. It means defending political freedom. It means defending not the outer shell, but the living substance of democracy. Those who are called to vote must assume a moral and political responsibility. The responsibility to decide whether to hand over a colleague to an authoritarian regime. The historical responsibility of choosing whether in Europe authoritarianism shall prevail or democracy. The choice, it's yours.